Abisha, 5 years ago, you came up with this idea. I think we were in a bar in Cape Town, and you shared your thoughts and visions on starting a woman in print group. And obviously, we're asking my thoughts and where do we sort of start? If you look at it today, it's grown into 3 sold out events and a community that's inspiring women across South Africa and Africa. One of the things I love about Women in Print is that hundreds attend, but it's become accessible to thousands of ladies out there. What makes you most proud of what Women in Print has become in South Africa?
Yeah, well, Jean, thanks a lot for reminding me of where it all started, because I think it began with you. And they say a couple of drinks gives you a little bit more of a creative insight. So I suppose we should spend more time at the watering
In a
hole,
bar.
and we might come up with some more genius. But yeah, look, I think for me, it's been such a revelation. Something that started out as being an idea, has grown into, a movement, not only locally, but continentally so. And not just 3 sold out events. Now we're talking by the end of, this series, we would have reached well over 3 million, people on the continent across 34 countries. So for me, that is ultimately possibly the greatest achievement in my career across all careers that I've ever had the privilege of being in, and I think it's legacy. It's legacy for myself. It's legacy for you, as well as all of the women that have been part of this journey. And I must really say, one of my most fondest and proudest achievements, from this entire platform, has been to see the different ladies, of which we've had almost 48 that have sat on our stages over the past 5 years, really blossom and grow into being these formidable, entrepreneurs, business leaders. And it's been such an inspiration to see that, what we've created has, really actually changed lives. And ultimately, that's what the platform is about. It's about, giving somebody an opportunity to shine. Because quite often ladies are really shy, and afraid to put their best foot forward and be vulnerable. And I think this platform has really allowed for that, for people to be vulnerable, for people to be a little bit more outside of themselves. And I mean, you would have noticed firsthand from your experience through the series, as well as through the Printer Mentorship Program that we launched last year, that the platform has evolved. And I think the next phase of what we're trying to do is now starting to be realized.
And I think it's so awesome because I agree 100% of what you're saying. I remember the first sort of 2 events when we used to tell ladies, look, we'd love you to be, talking about your experience on stage. And there were tears. It's like, I can't do that. I can't get up in front of a whole bunch of other people and speak in front of so many women. And there was this fear right up until the minute that it was about to happen. I mean, these ladies were petrified of having their voices heard. And I laugh about it because I said it a few times to them. Now we've got to battle to get them off the stage and say, hand the mic to somebody else, because
Yeah.
they love it and
No,
they found their voice. And
Yeah.
that is, to me, such a pleasure.
You're absolutely spot on. I mean, even now this year, I've had 1 or 2 of them call me and say, look, if you need me again, like, I am available. And those were the people that, like you're saying, were calling you and calling me, going like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. So yeah, it just shows you that, the platform really, it does have that ability, to mold and shape somebody's identity. And, that's great. So look, I think, obviously with Women in Print, my vision has always been to create an ecosystem that really is meaningful and has some sort of tangible return on the effort and commitment, both from Printing SA as well as from its participants. And last year, I decided that perhaps introducing a mentorship program would be another step in ensuring that everything that we do is tangible and has an outcome. And I also never wanted Women in Print to just be an event platform where we get together once a year during the Women's Month in August, and we go through our motions, and then that's it for the rest of the year. I think what the Printer Mentorship Program has allowed us to do is tap into that next segment of young women that are looking to really, aspire for more. Whether it's about self-development personally or professionally, that's what that platform allows you to do. It allows you to connect with people such as yourself who have got a wealth of knowledge in the industry and in life, and really inspire these young ladies to push the boundaries of their own understanding, take a chance on themselves, build a lot more on their self-confidence, self-belief, start looking for opportunities in places where they thought there were no opportunities, and leverage a network, because that's essentially what Women in Print is. It's a network of your peers, of other women facing the same challenges as yourself, and some have navigated it and can give you a cheat code to how to short circuit certain things. So I think the Printer Mentorship Program serves as that platform now, where for 7 months of the year we get to spend time with the mentors, with the mentees, and really go through a curated journey of various themes and topics on a monthly basis. And you'll see from the stories that will be shared at tomorrow's event, as well as across the country over the next couple of weeks, the impact that the program has had on the participants, and I think that will speak for itself in terms of the value of this platform.
I think as there's one thing that I've seen is that the platform, it continues to inspire, educate and connect women across the industry, which has been absolutely awesome. And so many have got fantastic stories to tell. I mean, we're going to hear, I know, brilliant stories across the industry about people's career paths and what they did and how they got started. So I think exciting things to come. So that kind of brings me to the next question. What excites you most about the future, and where do you see Women in Print actually going from here?
Oh yeah, well, once again, I think there's big ideas. Possibly over another glass of red, we can really crystallize the concept for the future. But what I think is Women in Print has really become something that is more of a continental movement. So my vision for the platform is now to take it into Africa, and have other ladies in the parts of the continent that we know tune in to Women in Print, have the real FaceTime with it, where we take this entire movement out to the likes of Kenya, Egypt, down south to Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and we expose those ladies firsthand as to a real life experience, and start to think about how do we create little pods of Women in Print in all of the regions, because I think there's definitely a place for it. We know, if we've got 3 million people that, by the end of this series would have interacted with us, that there is a massive calling and a massive need for something like this on the continent. So I think we definitely will look to expand the platform and be a lot more on the ground in certain parts. And I think we ultimately want to continue to develop more projects and more programs are in and around Women in Print. So we are busy thinking around what that looks like. And, we are definitely wanting to collaborate with people that share our vision. So I would encourage you, if you've seen, this interview, please reach out to us and tell us if you can, offer any insights or advice, or you've got ideas. We're all about collaborating. We're all about partnerships. And I think, Printing SA can't do it alone. It's a lot of ground to cover, and we need a lot more people being part of this ecosystem. And I'm sure we would definitely touch triple the amount of lives in the next 5 years with that level of commitment.
And one thing that I've noticed, and I know you and I have discussed this before, about how many strong, hungry, enthusiastic women there are out there, and they want to grow, and they want information, and they want more, and they are so hungry for it that we've got to feed them for sure.
Sure, absolutely. Again, remember before we created the platform, there really was no outlet. There was nowhere anybody, could go to figure out like, okay, well, where's the support system for us as females? And we are also trying to get our male counterparts on the bandwagon. So you're probably going to notice there's a lot more of the gents attending Women in Print this year. So I think they've understood the messaging, and they're getting on board to support their counterparts. But absolutely, I think we need to continue to evolve the platform so that it becomes the central hub for knowledge sharing, for just interaction, because sometimes people just want to connect, and that's also fine, and we want to create that environment off this platform.
And it's funny because a lot of these sessions, originally when they were created, it was like, how do you survive in a man's world? And it's always been a man's world as such. But with all these women stepping up, and with the amount of women there are, I think we need to have another session for men on, how to allow space for the women, because they're coming and you're not going to stop it. This train has left the station.
Correct. No, you're absolutely spot on. And you are absolutely right. I think definitely on the cards is we will definitely curate something where we bring the men on board, and we get to actually put them in the hot seat and get to probe them as to why our gender hasn't yet understood that the balance, the scales are now tipping the other way, and we've got a responsibility to ensure that we do support, and we do offer those opportunities willingly so, as opposed to be begrudgingly so as has been in the past.
Absolutely. And I think the more the gents learn about this and the more they see it, the more they're going, wow, and they're making a difference. There's women with technical skills that will put many men to shame, and women that can manage and do things that, a couple of years ago, females were underestimated for that, but they're making inroads for sure. So let's allow it.
True. Absolutely true.
So Abisha, I think, we've come to the end of where we are, and thank you for joining us. And I just wanted to say, congratulations to you, Printing SA, and to all those fantastic women, and we know who they are, that have helped build this over the last 5 years. So Printing SA has reached its 115th year. And all of this wouldn't have been possible without the support and involvement of Printing SA. So a big well done, and congratulations to everybody, because, watch out world, it's, as I say, the train's left the station.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jean. I appreciate you, and you've been such an integral part of Women in Print from the beginning, as you said, and long may it continue. We at Printing SA want to say to you and to the team behind you that we have been so grateful for the opportunity to have been working with you. I think over and above Women in Print, we went to Kenya for the first time together this year. So, the world is opening up to us, and I think, our continued collaboration is going to yield bigger and better things into the future. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your assistance and, pulling me into this too. And I know right now I've got a, well done South Africa, because that was the first one that we've grown. But I think soon I'm going to be holding an African flag here, or a whole lot of different flags, because, we are growing everywhere. So well done to all of you, and thank you, Printing SA.
Thank you, Jeannie. See you soon.